Hello. Well, it's Edwin. I apologize. I know this review is very late, but I did submit the writing piece. I'm sorry I had a family emergency, but I'm doing this now. I apologize again. But yeah, so I watched the film called My Beautiful Stutter, and I thought it was a really good piece of media to watch. It was very enlightening. Like, I never really thought that stutter was such a big issue, but I feel like this film like makes sure to clarify that to its audience, and I think that's just one of the many things that I like about the film. I like the fact that, like, I mentioned this in my writing piece too, like unusual documentaries, you have people who like act like the experts, basically just telling you the facts, like the percentage of people who stutter are this, the causes of that are this, everything that comes from stuttering happens because of this or something like that. Like, they're just throwing random facts at you and kind of like put the story of the people to the side. However, in this case, what I can appreciate this film, because from the very beginning it's like, yes, they throw like a few facts at you, but most of it is just like focused on like the kids that we're learning about. We learn about like their backgrounds, like where they come from, like how like the stutter has like affected their lives, how they feel about it, how their families view stuttering, and then how like they progress little by little. Like, once they're introduced to like Camp Say, and once they're introduced to all of them, to their team, and what they're doing, we get to see them grow. We get to see them like grow, bond, play with one another. They get to see that they're not the only ones who have to deal with this issue. And, well, it's not so much of an issue. Like, with this condition, I guess you could say, I can appreciate that about this film, that it focuses on the kids, and it kind of feels like, actually, it kind of feels like watching a movie. Then it feels so much like a documentary, for so to say, or like some kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, like like kind of like watching something you would see on the Discovery Channel. It kind of felt like yes, like it sort of felt like a documentary, but at the same time, it kind of felt like a movie, basically, where like the kids are the main characters of the story. We see them progress, and like, well, we see where they start, but then we see them like get introduced to the camp, meet new people, we see them grow, bond, make new friends, like grow as people. And then by the end, we see like how they end, like not just like once they're done with the camp, but also like what they do afterwards. And it, honestly, I thought it was very beautiful to see them, like, just many of them succeed. Like, like this girl, she was afraid of singing, but then she like overcame that fear of like being judged because of her stutter, and just decided to like give it a go, and she was amazing at it. Then you had um I forgot his name, but it was one of the kids. Like, he used to be like very like closed up, and like just very like angry at the world, I guess, for looking at him differently because of his stutter. But I can appreciate that by the end of the story, he grows as a person, and, well, he grows as a person, and he like opens himself up, and now he gives like speeches to other people with stutter, which I think that was like one of the best things to see. And I feel like it's even more satisfying than the movie, because in the movie it's like fictional, but then in this it's like it's real life. So all the good that happened to these kids, it's real. And that, I just feel like that just made the movie, well, the film, 10 times more enjoyable for me. I would say there's a good example of how, like, um, I would say there's a good example of how social impact entertainment can be used for good, because it's like you're keeping the audience engaged. I mentioned this in my writing too. Like, you keep the audience engaged while at the same time educating them. Like, in this case, they were being entertained by watching the story of these kids. Like, the main focus was them, and it was engaging to watch. It wasn't just like, how to explain it, like, I feel like it was put together in a way that it was just engaging to watch. Like, you wanted to know more about the kids, and like what was happening, and like what was going through their heads, and how they grow. Like, those were things that you wanted to see in the film. And yeah, I think that the film captured that pretty well. Like, I honestly loved it. It was amazing. Like, and also at the end, I did not know that Paul Rudd was in this. Like, I remember like in the guest call we had, like it was mentioned that he was there, but I did not think he was. I did not think he was gonna be like shown in there, but he was, and honestly, that was very surprising to me, and it was just so cool to see. But anyway, back to the main idea. Well, the main point, I guess. I love this film. I thought it got to the point, and like I said, I thought it shows how like social impact entertainment works in the sense that it keeps the audience engaged, while at the same time, educating them on what they need to know. And you're not just educating them by throwing facts at them, you're educating them by showing them the perspective of the people going through like a certain like dealing with a certain problem, whether that's a condition or like a social issue, or like some kind of sickness, etc. I think that that's how social impact entertainment can capture like the minds of people, and how it can be used for like to do good, basically, because in a way it makes it easier for like people to engage with what they're watching, and not only that, but they're also being educated on it. So I think that's like the coolest thing about social impact entertainment. But yeah.